What a gorgeous fall day. Temperatures hovering right around 69, 70 degrees. The water temperature looks like 67, which is about what I figured. Not a lick of wind. Hey everybody, Don here again, and welcome to what may very well be my last fishing video of the season. Not ready to call it quits just yet, but unfortunately, and I haven't mentioned this in any of my previous videos, working on my food plots and cutting up some trees, tore my rotator cuff. I went and saw a specialist, an orthopedic specialist last week, and he said, yeah, two things. You definitely got a torn long head bicep tendon, which they will not repair, and a torn rotator cuff, which is going to require surgery. Now this is 27th, 28th of September, and normally I would fish all the way through October, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. We'll see how it goes today. There's just certain movements that are basically excruciatingly painful. Paddling is not terrible as long as I use this to power. So I'm at the Stumpfield for one last shot at catching a big bass. And you'll see what I'm going to be throwing, something super special a little later. But we got CJ and Lori coming to visit on the second weekend of October. And then our son's wedding is in November down in Arizona. So we're going to be down in Arizona for 2 weeks. I'm not going to be doing any hunting videos this year. Just not going to be able to do it. I cannot draw back my bow. I cannot pull up the setter on my crossbow. And I'm going to be gone for the peak of the rut. So we're going to see if we can get out in pain. I did tell the surgeon that I like to do kayak fishing, and he said, well, as long as you can stand the pain, you're not going to do any more damage to the rotator cuff. So this is a test to see how painful it's going to be. I was messed up when I was over in New York with Fitzy, but thankfully I had Fitzy to help me load up the kayak in the back of the truck and carry it up to the shore. So that was good. I spent yesterday lowering the trailer as low as I could get it, so I was able to get the kayak on and off the trailer without too much difficulty. So who knows, maybe this won't be the last trip, but very well could be. So hang out. I'm at the Stumpfield. I'm going to be throwing something really special, so you want to hang out and watch for that. And yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes. Well, the first thing I'm going to be throwing, and you know, this is not what I'm talking about something special, but this thing has been awesome for me. This is the Beast Mode spinnerbait. This one's called Cold Gill, and it has been awesome. Caught some really nice fish with it. And we're going to throw this a little bit, and then as it gets a little later, we'll break out the heavy artillery. Do you see what I see? Free lure. Oh man, if I can get to it. Looks like a kind of frog lure I like. Maybe a little different than what I typically throw. That's pretty strong line. Bing! All right, free frog. Well, you can hear the wind. When I looked at Weather Underground, it said the winds were going to top out today at 2 miles an hour. I don't know, does that sound like 2 miles an hour to you guys? Sure doesn't feel like it. We're heading all the way up. Got one. Oh, nice fish. Oh, look at that. That's 3+ pounds for sure. I gotta get this net out front. Oh, reaching back for that was not fun. Let's see what this guy weighs. I don't know, I got a scale under there somewhere. There we go. £3 plus. 3.5, 3.8. Settle down, settle down. 3 pounds 1 ounce is what it settled in at. What'd I say? 3 pounds? Nice. Nice fish. Oh man. I'd take a selfie, but my arm hurts too much. Thank you for playing on the beast mode spinnerbait. Cold gill. This is called Cold Gill 1.0. Oh man, that hurt my shoulder trying to net that fish. But it's a good pain. Oh man. And no skunk. That's always a big plus. Right amongst these pads, just kind of running that spinnerbait in the gaps, and he nailed it. I love this spinnerbait. I've bought a bunch of these from Russ, and I absolutely love them. You can connect with him at Beast Mode Baits on Instagram. He doesn't do YouTube, but what a dandy fish. 3 pounds. I'm happy. Ate a very light lunch today, but I brought a little special treat. Some venison medallions. Cooked up some backstrap the other night. My God, it's good. I pound these things flat and then just cover them with Tony Chachere's. Just fry them up in some Pam or whatever kind of cooking spray. Even good cold. Nice fish like that deserves a little treat. Lone stump right there. Well, I think it's time to put the Senko away and the spinnerbait away. We're going to break out the heavy artillery. All right, when I say it's time to break out the heavy artillery, I am not kidding. Let me introduce you to Kersmacks. This is my friend Chris Ellis, aka Mr. Tight Lines. This is one of his handmade lures. This one's called Kersmacks, and I've been lusting after this lure for a couple of years. Finally able to get my hands on one. Now, I don't know how good the GoPro will show it, but the detail on his paint jobs is incredible. Now, I'm throwing this on a little bit lighter rod than I should be. This rod is capable of throwing about 2 ounces. It's a medium heavy fast. No, I'm sorry, this is a heavy fast, but it's only rated for a 2-ounce lure. This thing weighs 3 or 3.5 ounces. What I'm going to do is just throw it. You know, it's kind of a wake bait. It sits on the surface. We'll see how it sits. This is the first time I've thrown it since I bought it. And I'm going to run it along the edge of these pads. There's this coontail that comes up from the bottom, whatever it is. And hopefully I can draw Mr. Big to the surface with this thing. I've got it tied on directly to some 65-pound 8-line braid, I guess it is, Power Pro. And I'm just going to lob it out there. Just kind of work it back so I can see that that wake bait blade takes it down a little bit, but then it pops right back up to the surface. This thing is a beast, but the old adage, big baits, big fish, this thing's gonna kill it. Oh, and I got over those weeds, and it's got 3 treble hooks on it, so I'm going after it. I'm not even going to try to reel it in. Maybe Mr. Big will pop it while it's sitting there on the surface. Oh, the last thing I want to do is lose this lure. I don't even want to tell you what it cost, but it is a work of art. Oh, look at that, man. The action on that is so cool. Look at that. Is that cool or what? I'm gonna be getting a new rod and reel setup, so next year I plan on doing a lot more fishing with big swim baits, big lures like this, just to see if I can get back up into that 6-7 pound range of fish. just looks so badass coming through the water. It goes down a little bit and then pops right back up to the top. It doesn't go down more than, I don't know, maybe 6 inches. And we're just lobbing it out there. If you watch any of Chris's YouTube videos, Mr. Tightlines is his channel. And man, he catches some monsters. The way I'm working this, I'm just kind of reeling it in a couple turns, letting it get down a little bit, and then stopping. Letting it come back up to the surface and sit there. Lots of times when I'm using like a hollow body frog, I get most of my bites when I've reeled it in a little ways and then just let it sit on the surface. Look at those legs. Is that thing juicy looking or what? I mean, this is a work of art, to be honest with you. Functional art. And as much as I'd be tempted just to hang it on the wall, that would probably break Chris's heart, because I don't think he makes these things to be hanging on the wall. They're meant to be fished. Wow, that thing is badass. Now, my biggest New Hampshire bass is 7 pounds, 14 ounces. If I catch a bigger fish with this thing, it may end up being on the wall, because I might have to have a special mount made with this thing in a 8-pound fish's mouth. All right, well, I just checked my phone, and sunset is in about 28 minutes. So it's going to take me all of that to paddle back down. So I'm going to call it a night. But when I get a little bit farther down in that area, I'm going to throw, when I get closer to the ramp, I'm going to throw Kersmacks a little bit more. Gave him a pretty good go out in here. Fished with him for about, I don't know, 40 minutes maybe. Didn't get any hits, but man, it's, you know, I only caught one fish all night. The fall bite for me has been tough, and it's my favorite time to fish, but certainly not because of the action. But I usually catch bigger fish later in the year. I kind of think they're putting the feed bag on, and I don't know, but beautiful night to be out, and really gave this shoulder a little bit more of a test. I don't think I'm done for the year. I may get out 1 or 2 more times, but we'll see. I'll probably really be hurting tomorrow. $25 minutes to get down here, and I got about 10 minutes to get to the launch. But I seen a few fish hitting the surface. I get up around this point, we'll throw Kersmacks a few more times. Last cast. Oh, maybe one more. All right. And now we're going to call it a night. So it wasn't the most comfortable day of fishing with this shoulder, but it was bearable. So I'm going to try to get out a few more times before the season ends, or before my season ends. And yeah, got to keep after it. Got to do it until you can't. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time. Peace. Beautiful night. Beautiful night.